Hey, this is Keith from Save the Rust. We picked up this 1984 model Honda 125M trike. We're gonna try and get this thing running today. We're gonna put it on the lift. It's on the lift, and we're going to give it a quick inspection. It already turns over. It has been sitting outside for a number of years. I'm gonna say 3 at least, and let's see what we can figure out. Got a 125 Honda three-wheeler. Needs some work. The recoil's been pulled out, but we're going to give it a wash and then see what's wrong with this thing. So what I've done is suspended the back of the axle on this lift, and with everything I ever do, I always put ratchet straps holding everything down. Long time ago I had a bike, didn't fall off the lift, but it fell basically, and I caught it, and no damage to the bike, just damage to my pride. So ever since then, anytime I put any bike on the lift, I always strap it down, even if it's in the wheel chock. So I got the two straps on the front, kind of pulling it into the wheel chock, just so it's a little bit secure. Like, that's pretty secure. It's very hot here today, very humid, and sometimes you have to work on something different just to still get progress. So one of the things I noticed when I picked this thing up, as we're pushing it, there was like a grinding noise, and first thing I did is I pushed on the rear brake pedal, and it does nothing. So as soon as I put on the lift, I grabbed the back wheels, and there is movement. I'm guessing that the bearings, or at least one of them, has disintegrated. But I can't be sure until I open everything up and take a quick look. So that's not going to stop us from see if we can get it running. At least doesn't mean we have to go for a ride. Just let's see if we can get this thing running. So fuel tank looks really good. All underneath, there's no like big spots of rust. I still got to get it opened. It moves, but can't get it open yet. Petcock works, so that's nice. Here's the pull start. So the recoil has to come off. I got a battery. I'm going to toss it in. See if we got lights. The ignition, like where you put your key in, it's all broken. So there's pieces of it. So we'll see what we can do here. And little inspections. It looks like someone has had the front end off, and there's a lock washer on here. because I can see the lock washer's been tampered with, and this nut is loose. So that's telling me someone's been into the neck. I'm not sure what's going on there. We'll definitely tighten this up as a minimum. And then, you know, check the air filter. Check, you know, put the battery in, see if we can get it to turn over. Fix the recoil. See if we got spark, etc., etc. You know the deal. Spark, compression, fuel should go. What's neat about this is if you look right here, it's got a high-low range. So that's kind of neat. So, you know, this thing can go, I don't know, 30 miles an hour or 3 miles an hour, which will be cool for Waylon. You know, it's a 125, so it actually fits him pretty well. If we can get this running and going, he can play around with it, put it in low gear or low range, and he can have some fun with it. Doesn't mean I won't be riding it because I love trikes. Had a 185 or 200M years ago, solid rear, you know, like no suspension in the back, no suspension in the front, just like this thing. And I loved that. I loved it. It was just fun doing catwalks everywhere. You know, they're just fun little machines. So, you know, a 125 is actually a pretty rare unit. So yeah, it's actually in pretty good shape. Like the plastics are all in nice shape. Headlights all there. The guards all there. Rear rack. The muffler, you can see right here, it's kind of corroded, and you can see right here, there's been some welding done. I mean, it's 40 years old. What do you expect? Everything looks pretty good. It's got oil in it. So we'll drop the oil though, you know, and but it's nice to see it has oil in it. That's a good thing. And the rear plastics are actually really nice shape. The seat is you know, you can see the hole in it. So, but the plastics, there's no cracks like they're usually cracked. There's a bit of wear out on that one side of the fender guard or the plastic guard. But other than that, it's a pretty good little survivor. So let's work on this thing and see if we can get this thing running. So we popped this little Honda plug that's on top of the one of the risers, and we started taking off the screws. Because we want to get this, take a look at the key. And we're going to take a look at this top nut that's loose underneath here. So we took the 4 bolts holding the riser on. So now the handlebars can come, well, they're loose. So we got, try and get this. This ignition out. So we got the handlebars off, and we got the ignition here. We got a small screwdriver, and by pushing down on one of the pins, I was able to get the ignition to turn. If you can see on my hand, we got the headlight, and we got low beam, high beam. So that's a good start. It is in neutral. The neutral light isn't coming on, and when I tried the starter, it's not working. So the tail light is also, the bulb is shot, and there's a broken wire, so just something else to add to the list. But first things first, we have lights. Backside, you can see I took the tail light apart. The bulb looks burnt, but we also have a broken wire right here, so we'll have to fix that. So we took the shifter off. Use a screwdriver just to split it so it comes off easy. And now we're just taking off the last bolt on the recoil. And if you look below, you see that towel? It was covered. It was full of water, but some of it could have been just from when I just finished washing. But more than likely, it's been sitting, yes, with some water in it for a bunch of time. You can see in here, yuck, it's gross. We'll clean that out, and we're gonna get that recoil going because the starter isn't working. I'm not sure if it's the button or the starter itself. So we tighten up this the main fork stem nut, and you can see this is the lock washer. So it goes into a tab, bends over, it goes into the top triple tree, and then you have these fold over parts, and you can see how this one was. You can see how this one wasn't close enough, so it allowed it to come loose. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just flip this up and then bend it over closer to the nut, and then we'll bend this one over also. So before I go and look for a bulb, as you can see, this one's not on. It is in neutral. The ignition's on. We have lights. I thought I'd take just this little tester. It's just a light bulb with a wire. So I put the wire inside, and as soon as I ground it, you can see I have lights. So that means that there's a bad ground in the system. So I'm gonna put the bulb back in and see if we can find that later. So we're about to take the fuel tank off, and finally got the gas cap to open. That's ugly. So as you can see, kind of rusty. The inside's got a lot of fuel in it, and it's kind of cruddy. So we'll take it all off, and just another task to perform. Lots of stuff coming out, lots of rust. Just loosen it all up, and tank looks good though. Tank looks good. So after multiple shakes with nuts and bolts and everything in it, and I could have hooked it up to my my tumbler, but it just didn't seem that bad, so I didn't want to go through the effort. But you can see lots of rust. It's all rust that came out of that tank. So I've got a bunch of nuts and bolts inside, and I just keep cleaning it out and then filling it up with water. Yeah, water. No worries. It's not gonna get any worse. What I'll do after this is I'll dry it out and then I'll fog it with like a WD-40 or rust protectant, and that'll be fine. It's not the first time I've done this. I've done this lots of times, usually before I weld a gas tank. This one's pretty close to being done. Very little coming up. So what you do is you kind of watch. You'll see there's still some specks of rust coming out. You see that? So I'll just keep cleaning it out, rinsing it out, and using the nuts and bolts in there to kind of dislodge all this. And when I'm done, I'll be done. So at this point, the gas tank's on the floor there. It's been fogged. It is pretty clean. I'm very happy with it. We just pulled the air box apart, took the rubber hose that goes from the carburetor to the air box. There's the filter. It's disintegrating before your eyes. So need a new one of those. And now we're going to take the carb off and get it all cleaned up. One step closer. Now we're going to clean this dirty carb. It's pretty ugly right there. So let's see what we can do. So we've taken off the float bowl. Floats there. Took the petcock off that's attached to the float bowl. It's plugged solid. So we're gonna have to clean that out. And we'll just continue cleaning the carb. It's coming along. I've seen worse. I've seen better. So nothing crazy here. Almost looks like there's just the fuel nowadays is just such garbage. I'm having so many issues lately with fuel. It's actually sickening. It's pretty ugly in here. That's rust. That's rust. That's kind of what the inside of the gas tank looked like, in case you're wondering. So there's a little filter. Hopefully it was doing its job and didn't allow any of that rust to go in. Looks pretty good, actually. So we'll keep cleaning this, and then it'll be like snap. All of a sudden it'll be a clean carb. So we have the recoil all pretty much cleaned out. It's recoiling back nicely. Just have to, so that's good. So we're gonna put the recoil all back together. So what I did is I can see the cords on this end, goes through, push it through here, and then you kind of push it into here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a knot in it, and then I'll show you how to get the recoil working. I've been playing with these for over 40 years. It's kind of amazing when I started thinking about this, how many times have I done this. But started fixing old snowmobiles when I was probably 8-10 years old. So 40 years later, still playing with this old stuff. So we have a knot put into the cord, and what we're going to do is we're going to just pull the cord up from the side here. And I'm sure there's some people who have different ways of doing this, but this is how I've done it. So we'll pull that knot nice and tight. Stuff it in there as best we can. And then you can see which way it goes. It wants to go this way. So what we gotta do is we gotta bring it back to this point here where there's this little notch. And then you just wind it up a couple times. Pull it back through, curl in there, get it straight. Now it's so you can see we got a bit more cord, so we'll just fish this through again. After one more pass, we got recoil. Recoil's fixed, and let's get this installed. All right, we got the fuel tank on, put a bit of fuel in it, hooked up the fuel lines. There's a couple drips coming from the carb, like the float's sticking a bit, but let's, we got fuel in it. The air cleaner's all off. We haven't hooked that back on because the filter is gone. Pull the choke in, turn the key on. It's in neutral. It's on run. Unbelievable. Love it. We do have an issue with the back axles. I think the bearings are completely shot, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it back up. I want to put it in gear and just see if it turns. Make sure the transmission works. Love it. Well, that's it. We did get it running. Hope you enjoyed that. Still lots of work to do on it. We're gonna have to go through the back axle and replace those bearings because it is shot. But she runs. Stay tuned for part 2 when we go through the rear end and replace those bearings and stuff, which will be either in the next week or in a couple weeks. So thanks for watching. Check out our merch. Always appreciate all the comments, shares, likes. Hope you enjoy what we do here. I'm Keith. To Save the Rust is who we are and what we do. Thanks for following.